We'll see if things will change here as we get into game number 2. Flashpoint versus Fable should be an interesting one. I want to see how these guys bounce back with Flashpoint taking game number 2. We'll get into picks and bans right about now, and Fable will have the first selection.
Now,
again.
Yeah, Guan Yu could be an early priority pick here because Nickwood played so well. Ryan Jarman, whatever you want to call him, he was the dude. But I kind of just want to see him go back to the Cucullin again. Why take him off of it? He played so well. He handled that lane nicely against Delnyy as well, even with the Guan Yu. There's no real reason to take Ryan Jarman off of that big pick. I just want to see some better picks around it. I did not like the Ratatosker very much from JPrro. I did not like the Fafnir. That never really made an impact. I think that Fable has a couple picks that they could switch out while still staying true to what they did well in game 1. Mr. Teep's early game was solid. Cyprexa's late game was really, really good outside of the ultimately last team fight. I think those are picks that you can still go for and work with. I just want to see some switch-ups in other spots.
I'll definitely agree with you on that one. Fable here, banning out the Dodgy and the Raven. FP with the Achilles and the Odin. First pick for Fable, again, with you, give him the Cucullin. And I think this is very important for the players, not just at ranked players and sort of sub-SPL level players here. I think this is an important thing to note is that as they do take the Cucullin, great to illustrate my point, Guan is the big man on campus. He got a ton of buffs. He's really, really strong. But there's something to be said about playing what you play. And and what Jarman did on Cucullin, he can't do on the Guan. Right. I don't care if Guan is the popular god right now. What happened with Cucullin could have won Fable the game by itself.
I completely agree with you. So I like Fable going right back to it. Now, Flashpoint switching it up a little bit, getting Checo again to the Hachiman, which I don't think he played particularly well on this pick. So a little surprised to see them go for it early. They did in the last game as well. This could just be, like we said, it's a completely safety pick. But then taking the Ratatosker away from JPrro, this is a pick that Jumpahhh plays quite a bit overall, so I'm not surprised by it. But I think the Susano answer is a really good one because now this dissuades the Giannis pick from Panda mid. He played very, very well on that selection. Now you get a counter matchup. Susano does great into Giannis. I like this change in direction from Fable.
Hachiman, on the other hand, you're right. Checo didn't play very well on it, but I think that the Hunter characters are very similar to each other, and Hachiman one of the safer ones. I think that's a bad game whether he's playing Hachiman, Jingwei, Shibalanke. Like,
sure,
I think any
point.
Hunter. It's the same outcome. So going with the Hachiman again, not too concerned. But I think the Agni is just the correct choice here. Flat out. More control, and that seemed to be what Fable lacked. Cucullin would push up front, and then nobody would be left behind to help the players in the back line. Agni can do that.
I like this Agni selection as well. I think that can match really well. However, the RDO pickup here by Flashpoint, I love because as we said last time, it felt a little early. There weren't any dashes to really cripple out. Susano and Agni can really, really struggle into a character like RDO. However, RDO can struggle against gods like Agni, who can stun her from a distance, who can interrupt. Everything she's doing, it takes time. It's all channeled abilities. Even the bear swipes, you can cancel those out pretty quickly with an Agni. I think this can be a volatile matchup between the two, and whoever gets the lead can really punish the other one very easily.
Important Shibalanke ban coming out from Flashpoint. I think this is the de facto strongest hunter right now. I think we mentioned on the broadcast, it's 1,000 player damage to stack your passive. You do that 6 times, and you get an extra, basically an item.
Yeah.
6K player damage isn't that hard to stack right now.
No, you can do that within a couple minutes, really.
Yeah.
I mean, before the 12-minute mark, you can have that stacked fairly easily.
So one of the characters, the newer buffed characters that definitely need to be banned out there since Fable haven't selected a hunter yet. Option over to Flashpoint after 2 mid lane bans. Chillvanus will be the choice over there, leaving that mid lane selection for last. We'll see where Panda goes.
So RDO likely for the solo lane now for Delnyy. This is a comfort pick for him. But I don't know how much I like it into the Cucullin. I mean, you're basically conceding that lane pressure overall. Now, you're likely losing that lane no matter what you pick there. You can pick any warrior you want. Outside of Achilles, you're going to have a tough time actually winning the lane away from a Cucullin. But I don't know how much I like just totally giving the lane away in that spot either. Also, Terra was 9th pick.
Woof. Terra, certainly a strong choice. Mid lane for Flashpoint here. All eyes on Panda mid. Last time we played the Giannis looked really strong, very positive flash line. Yeah. Very positive kill, death, assist ratio. Last choice here, what are you expecting?
Could be the Giannis again. Like I said, I think Susano is a really good matchup into Giannis because you can pull him away from the walls pretty easily. I like this Discordia pick of it. It does give you some 1v1 potential in the mid lane, even against an Agni. That cripple is going to be really, really good against Susano, Agni, and Huyi, and Terra. Those are all relevant dashes or leaps that you want to get away from the opposition. I think this is a pretty strong Discordia pick here. I like it.
The nature lane. Cyprexa doing the Drake push. We've got Terra sitting there as well. Flashpoint looking good here. One game number one, as I said, extremely close. I'm actually going to disagree with you on your solo lane. I think that we agree that Ryan's just going to win that lane flat out. So I like the RDO here because it affects Fable's team so much that you're going to lose the lane. You're going to really lose the lane. I don't mind. I like this RDO selection because you already know you're losing.
Yeah, but RDO doesn't bring the same level of late game team fight dominance as other Guardians like Sobek or Cerberus. Those are the gods that I'm like, okay, I'm losing lane, but I don't really care because I'm just gonna do more than you in the really late game team fights. RDO is really good in the mid game team fights, but kind of struggles in the later stages because her damage becomes less relevant. It's easier to interrupt her. She won't be quite as tanky. The gods like Sobek can initiate for you. Gods like Cerberus can initiate for you. RDO isn't really that great of an initiator overall. She's more of just an outright brawler, and brawlers don't do as well in the late game.
I'm so afraid of Terra. And the ultimate is the main reason why Terra is very, very good, but getting the root back scares the hell out of me. And I think that Delnyy can really counteract that, the Terra dash in the middle of the team fight. As soon as she drops that monolith, you can set out the cripple field, and that's when you can take advantage of that. I'm really looking at the Terra as a very scary part of Fable's draft, so I think that's why I really like the RDO.
It's a fair point. I just think that if I'm going for a Guardian that's losing lane, I'd rather have one that affects the late game team fights a little bit more, can be an initiator for me because Chillvanus isn't a great initiator either. You don't want to rely entirely on Jumpahhh as your initiator in the late game.
Yeah.
I think Cerberus does a great job against Terra because of that anti-heal that he has. Now, she does struggle with the ultimate because Terra can make herself knock-up immune, but I think that the anti-healing the opposition and stealing some of that healing away for yourself, the prot shred is hard for her to deal with. I just think there are some better Guardians to go for.
I'm with you on the Cerberus.
But I think that I could totally understand why RDO was the selection.
Yeah. I think I would have liked to see the Cerberus over the RDO as well, but left side is where we're looking. Terra's in some trouble, gets rooted. Nice shot from Cyprexa to sort of keep Flashpoint from getting too aggressive. But JPrro making the early rotation. Susano, one of the better characters at making this level 2 gank, and here he comes. Pops the health pot in anticipation of the damage. Looks for Matt Koiz. Doesn't have the pull.
No, I think Susano is very good at the level 3 gank, but really struggles with the level 2 gank because you really do need that wind siphon in order to make things go your way, basically guaranteed. Level 2, no CC available for him.
If he goes the wind siphon instead of the dot, because you're going Stormkata always at level 1, right? If you have the siphon instead of the dot, I think that you have a better chance, especially looking at this lane. Again, taking things into context instead of looking at them in a vacuum. Going for that siphon because you have control from the Terra player, I think would have been a nice look, but we are definitely splitting hairs and cutting grass right now on our on our analysis right there. Panda mid, Jumpahhh, looking for their own invade. Will successfully take away the red buff from Fable, who just were caught sleeping a little bit.
Mr. Teep just a little bit too poked out in the mid lane. Has already used both of his potions and is still sitting at half health, half mana, not really feeling any contest there. Gotta say, I'm not a big fan of going Warlock staff on Agni. His early game team fight is so good as is. Get the Bancroft's talent early. Start to really utilize that Bancroft's talent passive by playing aggressively with the Agni. I really don't think that Warlock staff is what you want to go for right now because you're likely dead when Jumpahhh jumps on you without your dash, no matter what. You may as well try and return the kill. Your lifesteal will be relevant. I think that I would have much rather seen Teep go for the Tiny Trinket alongside the Mage's Blessing instead of that Warlock's one.
He's also a character that, although Mage's Blessing has helped his early game, and it's serviceable now, his early game is not strong. It lacks. And so by putting yourself even further behind with the Warlock staff, yeah, I have to agree. I like the Bancroft. I even like some of the other options. Bancroft, I think, is probably the longest option, the latest option as far as those choices. You're looking at basically everything with 100 power, right? Thoth, Chronos, Bancroft. And so out of those options, I think Warlocks just pushes Agni back even further from where he was already standing in the back.
Yeah, I do like Mr. Teep going for boots, though, right away, instead of trying to rush that Warlock staff. This does allow him to play more aggressively now, and level 5 is where Agni can start to play very, very aggressively. One of the most aggressive mid laners you can pick right now, and I think this is the right call from Mr. Teep, and it kind of forces Panda mid to do the same on his end to match that rotation power.
Yeah, I actually really wanted to see Mr. Teep take advantage of the fact that even though he was down in levels, he had the itemization lead. But very quickly, Discordia saw that, well, not going to give him that opportunity. And so right back to base he goes. Jumpahhh in the sky, though, looking for the red buff invade again.
Looks like he got it.
Yeah, I think Jumpahhh chased everybody off. Panda mid going to go make his way over there and pick up the red buff because he's safe.
Maybe not.
No?
Either way, Jumpahhh just using that ward vision overall to make sure that he has the option to go aggressive there, but a good ward actually gave Fable the information as well.
Cyprexa gets pulled by Matt Koiz, and I don't know if that was a good move, honestly. Here comes the ultimate from Cyprexa, looking for Michael Checo.
No mark.
Yeah.
This who ye slow does happen. It used to be a situation where it wouldn't slow without the mark of the Golden Crow on your target. Now it will slow, but it gets a stronger CC, whatever, whenever the mark is on there, a stronger slow. But without it, Matt Koiz is able to easily just walk out of it alongside Michael Checo.
Right side, Ryan Jarman takes down Delnyy. Nice gank coming out from JPrro there, actually making use of the wind siphon. A little bit too quick for the camera. Quick moves from Susano. Honestly, that's what the god does. Shows up, kills you.
Really, really quickly, and then escapes almost every time. That's exactly what I think that FableGG should be looking for, is giving Ryan Jarman another unmanageable lead. You try and play around that Cucullin once more. Now Jarman's going to be able to get that magical defense online, and makes it even harder for Delnyy to try and box into it. I think that giving Jarman a lead like he had last game, where he was up, what, 6 levels over Michael Checo, is an easy way to win this game too.
I use the phrase play through a lot, as in a team will play through a player, and usually fans look at that as just like, oh, that's the carry. Ryan Jarman, his team played through him last game, and he wasn't the carry. So this is a perfect example of how you can play through a player that isn't doing a ton of damage. And this is how you take advantage of it. Ryan Jarman pushing up a lot with all the confidence in the world, and a nice gank from Jumpahhh. Almost gets taken down 2v1.
Almost.
But close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Great gank coming out from the Flashpoint boys on the right side of the map to answer what JPrro did last time.
And a good bait from Delnyy as well.
Yeah.
Kind of baited Jarman into that weird spot. Jarman just took a while to transform there. Don't know if he popped the 2 to try and get some extra damage before he transformed, or what happened there to prevent him from doing so. But that was the opportunity on that right-hand side. I do think Jarman had opportunity to solo down Delnyy even in that 2v1 spot.
Yeah. Not going to be the case this time, unfortunately.
I don't need a weapon to beat you.
Jarman, fresh off of the death, comes back and taunts up there in lane. Level 2 of the Pestilence, going in the Pesty a little bit earlier this time around versus the Artio as compared to the Guan Yu.
I think that's a good idea, because Artio's only answer in this lane to try and stay in it is via her sustain. It's in that Druid stance, trying to keep herself topped off and healthy. Jarman already has the innate anti-heal, as I mentioned, with that human form 1. But once he gets that Pestilence online, Delnyy's really not going to be able to heal for much at all. Plus, it's going to be excellent in the team fighting phase against the Chillvanus. It's just a safe pickup that does everything Jarman needs it to do.
I'm shaking my head looking at Mr. Teep throw out that bomb with his Warlock 2. It's just not effective. And the problem for Mr. Teep in game number 1, you brought it up, was 6th item demo grip. Now, that was 6th item, but itemization kind of held this player back. Are you kind of seeing a trend here like I am?
I mean, definitely not the build that I would have gone for, but he's still going to be doing relevant enough damage right now. 200 a bomb is good enough to let JPrro get that kill.
And there's a knockup from the ultimate. Love that JPrro saved it for that long. Mr. Teep going for it, can't find it. And he's likely to fall here as he's surrounded by 2 members of Flashpoint. From the sky comes Jumpahhh, and to the ground goes Mr. Teep. But JPrro pulls him in and shuts Short the rat.
2 for 1 overall for FableGG. Delnyy trying to keep this chase going. Ryan Jarman has been in the mid lane for a little bit now, but don't know that Delnyy's going to be able to find this kill. No, has that cripple. JPrro just able to get out of there, but then teleports back in. Jarman uses the knock-up to make sure that JPrro stays safe. Good peel there for the Susano by multiple different players. Needed both Jarman and the Terra in order to get him out.
I'm going to ignore, let's just all choose to ignore that last teleport from JPrro, okay? Because I was just about to give this guy props for the turnaround from game number 1. I didn't like his build path, didn't like his decision making, didn't like really anything about JPro's.
He used the wrong skin. Like, what was he thinking?
I'm serious. I just didn't like where the guy's head was at game number 1. Game number 2, complete turnaround, 2-0-1, and sort of what I was talking about in game number 1. Those 2 kills were important. They actually had an impact in the game, as opposed to the previous game number 1, where JPrro was getting kills, but none of them really mattered. Here, much more relevant in the game. Really like what he's been able to do for the team so far.
And the early brawlers is critical here against an RDO and a Chillvanus. Anywhere JPro's going, he really does need some degree of anti-heal. Is Jumpahhh going to meet up in the jungle and eat about a third of his HP because Mr. Teep and his bombs alongside JPrro.
15 stacks in that Warlock staff, and once this starts to get stacked up, then our conversation is irrelevant. And if Fable don't lose anything in this next couple of minutes where Mr. Teep is stacking, then no harm, no foul, right? I mean, that's really what we're talking about, is the ability to take advantage of Agni's prowess right now. Jumpahhh looking for an ambush, but he might get ambushed himself. Comes around the corner and goes, surprise, JPrro! And then JPrro has 3 teammates there, so he turns around. You catch that pull from Koiz?
I did. Did you catch him trying Ulta Terra, who had a monolith out?
I did. That knockup will work. Michael Checo puts the Guardian in the garbage. Number 3 for Flashpoint.
See, Koiz was just there, was using his ultimate to apply the dot damage. That's what it was about.
Yeah,
Not the CC at all.
No, he was cosplaying as Polar Bear Mike when he ulted the purple.
Oh, that was good. That was good. Why you gotta bring Mike into this,
I will
man?
never let anybody forget about Mike ulting the purple.
All right. I'm just gonna say it. I just have to. Tom, you sashed a buff camp.
I was changing my keybinds, and I'm not a professional player.
Are you really the man to criticize people for doing things to buff camps?
I was changing my keybinds, and I'm not a professional player.
Yeah, Mike was changing his cast settings.
If that was the case, I'd go with it.
Just saying. I agree.
I know that's not the case, though.
Mike's a troll in alternate buff camp, and we should all make fun of him for it incessantly.
Yeah.
However, you're not really the one to do it.
No, I totally am, because that was a one-time. I was changing my key bindings. I'm actually pretty sure that there is footage of that happening from a cameraman of me changing my key bindings when it happened.
And then what happened? You sashed a buff camp.
Yeah, I got memed.
So I don't think you're really in a position to meme the others. That's all I'm saying. Live in a glass house, you know, that sort of stuff.
I'm going to watch every minute of your professional career when I go home.
Man, what a treat for you. You're welcome.
Flashpoint getting rained on right now. Koiz knocked up and pulled and just all sorts of nonsense. Cyprexa with the last hit onto Mr. Koiz there. Jumpahh's going to go for it. I don't like that call, and very quickly he turns around. Fable didn't collapse on him, and you really can't, because you don't know which members of Flashpoint followed into that terrible initiation. Now you can, as everybody has ran away. JPrro trying to look for Jumpahhh, but big damage from the Ratman. Nice ultimate from Panda mid. Will find the Guardian. And I don't know what Terra's doing.
Checo just a little bit too aggressive there. Was never going to be able to finish off JPrro with that mounted archery. Oracles get split. Panda mid is able to steal one away for Flashpoint. And the AoE control from Fable is really starting to show its head. I mean, the AoE root from Terra, the stuns from Cyprexa, the bomb stuns from Mr. Teep, the Typhoon from JPrro, and the Wind Siphon as well can pull multiple people. It's really starting to give Flashpoint some issues, particularly Koiz, who's gotten caught in that corridor a couple times now. Has to be a little bit worried about that. And that's why I like the reinforced Greaves pickup. Try and give himself some extra crowd control reduction. Try and get out of situations where you wouldn't expect Chillvanus to be able to get out of. The Lotus Crown as well can help with that. But Mr. Teep's already doing a lot of damage. Level 13, has not had to share a lot of waves, so that's why he's ahead overall in XP. Matt Koiz is going to need some magical protection pretty quickly. He's building into it now, but it's got to come really, really soon if he wants to stay safe.
And that Warlock Staff is getting to the point where once you have about 60, 65 stacks, that's really where this item becomes a real item. Before that, the math doesn't really line up and you are behind by finishing that item and not having it stacked. You're actually, you have like half an item as far as the stats are concerned to comparative items. So once you get that 60, 65 stack mark, that's when the numbers start to really compare themselves nicely to the other options. So this, you want to punish, what I'm saying is you want to punish that mid laner before he gets the stacks. No pull there for Checo with the CC immunity. And Flashpoint wasn't able to do that. Now that it's stacked up, there's not a... there's no Achilles heel here for the mid.
That's right. And once he starts to get that Divine Ruin as well, I think that should be the pen option for Mr. Teep. It's great on Agni because he can apply it to multiple different targets very easily with all of his AoE, and it will be the Divine Ruin. Smart pickup this time around for Mr. Teep. Yeah,
just clean and clear. Agni does a great job of using that Divine Ruin because of his passive and just the way he works.
Just able to keep it, as I said, you can apply it to multiple people very easily because your abilities are all AoE. And it lasts for a long time because of that combustion passive. It keeps ticking until you get to the final tick of damage. Then that passive will start counting down from Divine Ruin. So between the dots of Jetstream from Susano and the Brawler's Beat Stick there, and then the combustion and Divine Ruin coming out of Agni, you're looking at a lot of long duration anti-heal, which is very important. It's not just how the strength of the anti-heal, but the duration of it as well.
Yeah, throughout the team fight, FableGG are going to look to connect the dots.
Nice one, Tom.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
No problem. I meant it.
I could tell.
I definitely did.
You were you're really sincere right there in your conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I appreciated that from what you said earlier. That thing that I totally paid attention to.
Trying Jarman a little bit late there. Nice sidestep. Matt Koiz is going to get controlled. The sun's dropped as well. I didn't think that's a little bit more than I would have liked to see FableGG really invest.
He gets used by Mr. Teep as well, trying to preempt that knockup from Jumpahhh. JPrro going to blink forward, immediately eats an apple for his troubles. Still alive for the moment. Jumpahhh can't quite close the gap to bring him down.
Wow.
Over aggression there from Fable. A little bit ahead of themselves.
JPrro with the jigs jig, the barra backstep, the totally toss up, just barely avoiding that strife. I invented the totally toss up. That's not really a thing.
I was going to say, I've never even heard of that. What is... I've seen some totally toss-ups before, but I don't know if I'd describe it with a backstep, you know?
How would you describe a totally toss-up?
Am I allowed to say that on broadcast, you know?
I would say Buddha-like.
That's not where I was going.
Filled with Zen nature.
Still not where I was going.
4-3 here, read the kills. 17 minutes in total. Fable and Flashpoint tied up like a bad knot. This is how game one went until pretty much just a single team fight. I mean, it was back and forth, couple of objectives being taken. No real team in the lead here.
That does, I think, favor FableGG. I think that their late game team fight is a little bit better than that of Flashpoint. I mean, they have the best team fight ultimate in the game right now in Earth and Fury from Terra, and they've just got so much AoE control. We already touched on it earlier on. Flashpoint, their main strength as a squad is they also have some strong AoE abilities. I'm looking at Strife and Wrath of Terra, you know, Through the Cosmos. These are good team fight disruption, but they're also, they really excel at finding two people that are kind of by themselves. It's kind of difficult to guarantee all that damage in the midst of 4 or 5 members all at once, whereas Fable is a lot of fire and forget sort of ultimates and abilities that'll hit a lot of members.
I really love this itemization choice from JPrro to go for the Magi's Cloak. So you might say he's on a tear, continue building offensively. I'm going to make an argument that this is an offensive item. Now, clearly it has defensive stats that doesn't give him any power, but what happens is, in the middle of these team fights, he's going to be knocked up, knocked down. We'll finish that thought in a moment, because Flashpoint getting really excitable and looking for the Gold Fury here.
Jumpahhh poked out, though, and look at the rotation from Ryan Jarman. Delnyy is not on this rotation at all, and Delnyy doesn't have a teleport either. Jarman's going to knock up Panda mid, force out that ultimate. Thorns will return some of that damage on a Panda mid. Look at Jarman just dive this tier 2.
And meanwhile, the Gold Fury is all being aggressed on, finally leashed out. Not a lot of damage done, actually, by Fable. That was the game plan. Jumpahhh misses the ultimate, trying to chase down JPrro. Here comes Jarman, and Michael Checo falls down to the enemy hunter. Delnyy here just surrounded by 3 players. Fourth will be Ryan Jarman. Tara trying to find a route, won't. She's had a miserable game. Delnyy here surrounded, still doing well, and, well, trying to control the opposition, but I think it's the opposition that's controlling him. 3 kills without death for JPrro.
Now, Pro in some trouble, though. Might take a death here, just able to escape, but Koiz cannot. Jarman with another kill on the backside, and how much damage has this K'Kullen taken this fight? Roughly 0. Still full HP. That's going to open up the Gold Fury here for Fable. Jarman's rotation being that much earlier than Delny's was a big deal. He was able to force Panda mid out early on. And just the AoE control, the difference right now for Fable. Flashpoint can't really walk anywhere, it feels like, without getting hit by everything Fable's thrown at him.
Jarman also, you know, taking something away from the comp and giving it to the team here. Jumpahh's local, might look for the Gold Fury steal. Gotta look for the finish, finally does. Fable get that one, even though Agni missed a bomb. Jumpahhh in some trouble here. Ryan Jarman gonna zone out here. The composition is working wonders, but Ryan Jarman, the player, did a great job there. Zones everybody away from the Gold Fury, and his team didn't have the damage to complete the Gold Fury, despite he was zoning all the way behind that tower, and JPrro was zoning on the left side of the jungle. Now, the team still couldn't get that objective. And then Ryan Jarman goes, I guess I'll do it again.
Yeah.
And does it again.
And then does it again.
Again.
After that, no one, I mean, Checo again, down 4 levels, just like he was in the last game. And a lot of that is farm-oriented, right? Like, Matt Koiz has been sharing quite a bit thus far with Michael Checo, and that's why the ADC is going to be behind that of a solo laner. That's not unexpected by any stretch of the imagination, but just an executioner so far for Checo is not going to be enough to bring down this solo lane K'Kullen. It's just too difficult.
Yeah, and it's been, again, this team is playing through their solo laner without him being the carry. They're using his prowess and his leverage. Just, all right, you're not the carry, so we're not going to be able to just take these team fights head on and apply directly to the forehead. You're going to go and zone out so that we can do that on the back line while everybody is locked out of the bar.
Mr. Teep uses both relics. There's a Cursed Ankh as well. That heal from Terra's ultimate now a detriment to Mr. Teep, but Jumpahhh just able to escape. I thought Jarman was going to be able to finish him off, but just out of range goes the Ratatosker.
Like the communication there from Fable. Going to break it down in a moment. It looks like I'll get that opportunity. Delnyy trying to push, but I don't think there's anything really here to gain as you're controlling Ryan Jarman with that Stone of Gaia. Really interesting choice there. Ryan Jarman gets ulted, and it looks like the team has figured out, like, they have their way to play around Discordia. Whoever gets Discordia ulted stands still, and everybody runs away. I think just having a formula for that's important.
Jarman still pretty darn healthy here, but so is Delnyy, and he's going to push forward, knock up on a Jarman. He's about half HP, but turn around and use that War Cry. Now trying to turn it around even more onto Michael Checo. That'll force the shell out from Matt Koiz as Delnyy continues to push forward. Can't find the route onto JPrro, and that'll be enough for Fable. They back it up. No real objectives for Flashpoint to take, despite getting the better end of that little skirmish in the mid lane. Gold Fury is still down. Pyromancer is up, but it's on the right side of the map, and Flashpoint decide that they would rather just split up and farm again than go for the objective right away.
Stone of Gaia here for Ryan Jarman. Again, gotta just give this guy a nod for the correct itemization. So many knockups. Jumpahhh and Matt Koiz are going to be fighting the knockups, right? I mean, just the correct itemization from Jarman. Flashpoint looking for the objective, and likely will get it, but as we said, here comes Ryan Jarman. Looks like he was crowd controlled for it, so he won't be able to get the steal. That was close.
Also was there with the bomb and just barely missed stealing that away. I like the early Obsidian Shard here for Mr. Teep because Delnyy has a lot of magical protection just by being a Guardian, plus the Heartward Amulet from Matt Koiz. I think that's a good look for him, whereas Panamid goes for the Chronos Pendant, just not itemizing to kill the guy you got to kill, and that's Ryan Jarman. You can kill, Mr. Teep, Cyprexa, whatever. They'll take damage, so will JPrro. That's all fine and dandy, who's killing Jarman?
Yeah.
Before it's a 4-on-1 or a 5-on-1, Obsidian Shard is a necessity at this point.
You're not getting past Jarman to find that backline.
Right.
You're just
You
not.
have to itemize for who you're hitting in these team fights. And Panda Mid has been on the run the last 2 team fights because of Ryan Jarman. Chronos Panda doesn't really help you against that. You have to itemize for who is actually in front of you. In some instances, yeah, you can hit carries pretty easily as a mid laner if you're playing a certain way. If the enemy team is playing you a certain way, there are opportunities to itemize like that. This is just not one of them.
Yeah, not this game. And, you know, I think that's one of those, again, the adjustments that you have to make as a player. As a mage, you're not supposed to attack the tanks. Don't kill the tanks. You don't do that. But when you don't have an option, you have to do that. You have to itemize. You play the hand that you're given, not the hand that you want. You don't get you don't get the Christmas land hand all the time. You got to play with the cards you dealt. Right now, you got 5 Ryan Jarmans in your hand. Guess what?
Yeah, if we're all here gold fishing, like, of course I want Soul Reaver Rod up to Hootie because then I'll one-shot him. Yeah,
sure.
Great, but that's not how the actual game is played.
Exactly.
And Checo is itemizing as if he's going to be hitting Ryan Jarman because he will, and that's much better. Now, next item should be Titan's Bane. I don't want to delay any, attack speed. It might be necessary a little bit for the Hachiman right now, but delay your Odysseus Bow until later. Get the Titan's Bane right away, because once he finishes Titan's Bane, Jarman will feel a lot less tanky because of all that HP from the Stone of Gaia, the Midgardian. That's all great, but then that starts to work against you with that chin size. Exactly.
Yeah, really nice itemization from some of these players. Gold Fury, the spot of contest. Flashpoint have positioning around it, but likely not to look for it until the fight. Ryan Jarman pushed up as per usual. The rest of his team hiding behind a rock. Jumpahhh looking for the flank, but he will be spotted out by Mr. Teep. Here up top, the Terra ultimate going to be used, and Rat coming from the sky. Jumpahhh trying to find a target. Can't. Where's he going to land? He wants to find JPrro, and he looks for him. Here comes Ryan, though. Trouble, though. The strife is good. Flashpoint on the left-hand side, trying to find a target. Nobody can do anything, and finally, they focus down the Jarman.
No, look at the carries on the backside, though. They're so healthy for Fable, and that allows them to pick up Delnyy. Both relics available for Mr. Teep. Cyprexa still has the Aegis and is sitting at level 20. Now, all the relics are available for Flashpoint's carries as well, so this is a 4-on-4, but I think Jarman's been doing a lot more than Delnyy thus far, and I think that Fable probably feels like this is a fight they can't win quite as easily as Flashpoint.
Flashpoint not confident enough to go for the Gold Fury, but looks like Fable just going to pick this one up and look for it. This can be trouble. Flashpoint ready to fight. JPrro with a great pull. Nice dodge out. Panda Mid in trouble. Finishes off the mid laner.
Where's the Aegis? Where's the Aegis? I mean, you have an opportunity. Aegis, it's an auto attack that kills him. Mr. Teep's going to get jump on the backside. Checo's got to use the beads. No ultimate for Checo. He's stuck in the buff camp. No reason to use Aegis that time because he was dead to rights. But again, poor relic usage from Flashpoint. And I mean, on both sides overall, but Flashpoint in particular there. Panda Mid, gets the ultimate off, sure. Now JPrro is likely to die. But if he just uses Aegis and lets Checo kill the Susano for him, you're good. You're chilling. You're A-okay. Instead, Fable get a big Gold Fury despite losing the guy who's been dominating these team fights thus far, in Ryan Jarman.
Up 5,000 gold. FableGG right now after the objective. And what I wanted to ask you was, where did the damage come from onto Flashpoint? Was that all from Ryan Jarman? Or was his backline able to find damage?
No, JPrro did a lot. And once Jarman fell, that pull onto Panda Mid, and
I mean before Ryan Jarman fell, because that was...
Oh, well, no one was really low on Flashpoint. Everyone was still fairly healthy. I mean, Koiz was a little bit poked out.
Yeah.
Delnyy got killed. Checo was very
like
low.
Half. That's what
but
I was
that's
noticing.
all Ryan Jarman. That was all Ryan Jarman.
And see, that's really the point that I wanted to ensure that, because Ryan's just sitting there like spinning plates, and his team's in the back line just chilling. And so Flashpoint has to exert all of these resources to take down Jarman, all the while he's actively fighting into them. He's not just stalemating, he's fighting into them, so that when Jarman does fall down, one versus the world, everybody's at 70% HP, which isn't relatively low, but you are 4v5, you're 4v5ing a 70% team. That math is still in your favor.
Panda Mid, again, dies with both relics available. Gets blinked on by JPrro and try to use the ultimate in response instead of trying to survive with use of the relics. And now Fable has got an awesome opportunity to go for Pyromancer, maybe even Fire Giant here. I mean, Panda Mid's dead for 40 seconds.
Nice pull one more time. Delnyy in trouble. Mr. Teep, anything but free, making this one count. Number 2 for him. Jumpahhh in the middle of everybody, and Fable trying to control him as well. Mr. Teep raining the damage. Terror won't find a stun, but JPrro still looking for the jungler. Pull!
Nice.
And he's gone.
Well played
Great
there.
game from JPrro.
Yeah, JPro's playing really, really well right now. 6-1 and 6, and this is all opened up because that solo kill he found onto Panda mid in that right side jungle. Michael Checo will split push down mid T2, but instead of going for Fire Giant, look at the rest of Flashpoint. They're positioning as if they can go for a Phoenix here, and they might be able to do just that.
Yeah, Matt Koiz the only one here to play defense with Checo on the sideline. Jump forward. Mr. Teep gets that one, so the Guardian's down. Half HP on the Phoenix, and this Firebird undoubtedly going to go to Fable. Unlike the one in the middle lane, JPrro was able to defend that and send Checo back to base, but a little bit too late. Flashpoint lose their right side bird.
And that's not the worst bird to lose overall, because you could push that out and defend Fire Giant kind of at the same time. Not if the enemy team's going to go right for it, though, because Koiz and Jumpahhh still on respawn. And look at the rest of Flashpoint. They're all just kind of splitting up, doing their own thing towards the mid lane. This is going to be a Fire Giant easily for FableGG, who are just team fighting better right now. Jarman's doing so much, and that's been the talk so far this set, and deservedly so. But JPro's had a great game. Mr. Teep has played very well in this one. In the relic usage and overall teamfight positioning from Flashpoint has not been impressive to me at all.
I wanted to ask you about Ryan Jarman, the player. I mean, like I said, formerly known as Nickwid, this guy's been in the league not from minute 1, but from very soon after that. And you got a chance to play, play through with this guy in the league. Has he really, for me, it looks like he's really changed in the last couple of splits. He's become a strong player where in the past he's previously been a role player, maybe even a liability when he first started. This guy might be one of the more improved players in the league.
I agree with that. I mean, he came into the league and played nothing but Guardians.
Yeah.
That's all he played. The Xingqian, the Ymir, the whatever. That was all Jarman wanted to play and really could play at a high level. Then he started to get his hand into the Warrior. You know, I'm thinking of last year for Strictly Business, where he was a good member of that team and was doing his job. Then he came to LAN and had an awful performance at Fall Split. Didn't play well at Worlds either. That Strictly Business team ended up losing at Worlds pretty easily and kind of underperforming, I think, I would say overall. This didn't play on any of the top teams during the Spring Split. I think this has been a good maturation process for Ryan Jarman. I'm not ready to say he's top of the crop quite yet. I want to see how he does against Wolves. I want to see how he does against Neximus, who's had a really good split so far, but he's working on it for sure.
Certainly putting on a performance in this set. JPrro takes care of Panda mid after control by guess who? Ryan Jarman. Jumpahhh going to go into the sky and run safely away. Left side Phoenix not done just yet, but Delnyy is. Mr. Teep dashes forward, takes care of that one. Michael Checo going to be taken out by the Ryan Jarman patrol. Matt Koiz makes himself known and takes care of business as far as the solo laner is concerned. But 2 players here. Matt Koiz, make that one. And it looks like the Titan rush is on. We're going to game 3, boys.
Also, gotta say, man, Cyprexa, where did this guy come from? He is playing so well, has all set long. That one bad team fight in the last game where he dies out using relics aside, Cyprexa's looked really, really strong, has outplayed Michael Checo at every turn, and this is a name that I'm not familiar with at all. This is a new dude to the scene as far as I understand it, and has played lights out thus far.
That was something I wrote down on my notes. I was like, who is this Cyprexa guy? He's been crushing it. Like you said, a newer player in this league. Very exciting when we get to see new talent.
Yeah.
Really turn up, because I mean, this guy, 0 deaths in that last one.
Impressive. And he was always in the right team, the right spots in the team fights. He has not taken a lot of damage so far in this set, and that's a mark of a good hunter.
Exactly. I think it's really important to go ahead and make use of that hunter position. It's all about positioning and finding the damage windows where you can. This is not like the hunter years of Once Upon a Time where you just hit sprint and go and run towards everybody. You gotta pick your spots correctly, and Cyprexa has done just that.
And it was the Jingwei in the last game, now the Ho Yi, 2 pretty different styles of hunters overall as well. This was more about controlling the team fights with your Sunbreaker ultimate, and he did a really good job of that. It's always it seems to be in the right spots, and no one else is really around the targets that Cyprexa is going on the other team. And that's partially, I think, Flashpoint's fault. They have not grouped particularly well in these team fights, but that last game you don't want to group too much, but there was very little, if any, grouping overall. I think that Flashpoint's communication in the middle of these team fights is really lacking right now, and they need someone to find the right voice to make sure that their target selection is good, where they need to be is good, and just some general VOD review and experience I think is going to really help this Flashpoint roster.
Well, no